Okay, Algebra 1, this is Chapter 3. These are a little bit different than what your book does, but these are still important. These are more kind of a pre-algebra review, but I found that you guys are still having trouble with this. So here's a video on 4 of these problems to help you out with this, and I'll just put it in this section because it seems to fit real well. So the way I deal with these problems is I put them into an equation. It's pretty darn easy. You just take it word by word. So 2 is 2. Is means equals. Okay, 19%, well, we can't deal with percent, so we got to put it into a decimal, so that's going to be a 0.19. Of always means multiply. Of means multiply. And then what number? What number is, well, you don't know, so you put your x. And then all you have to do is solve for the variable. So if you've got 2 is equal to 0.19 times x, then to get the get rid of the 0.19 and get x by itself, we would do the opposite of division, or the opposite of multiplication, which is division. And if you do it to one side of the equation, you've got to do it to the other side of the equation. So we're going to take 2 and we're going to divide by 0.19. And when we do that, we get 10.526315 blah, 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 blah. And that's equal to x. Well, how do you know when to chop this all off? Well, 19% is 0.19. So we are already assuming that we're going to our hundredths place. That's called significant digits. Right now we only have digits that go to our hundredths place, so our answer can only go to our hundredths place. So we are going to chop it off at the 2. But don't just chop it off. You have to round. So we look at the number after it, which is a 6, and we say that x is going to be approximately 10.53, because the 6 would round it up. Remember, 5 and above, give it a shove, and that'll help you out. So let's look at another example. So 23% of what number is 72? So same basic problem, we just rearranged it a little bit. So 23%, again, we can't deal with the percent. We've got to put it as a decimal. So that's going to be 0.23. And then we've got the same thing. Of means multiply. Of what number? That's x. And then is an equal sign. And 72 is just a plain 72. So again, we're back to how do we get x by itself? Well, 0.25x means 0.25 times x. So to get rid of the 0.25, we will divide both sides by 0.25. Remember, fraction lines always mean divide. So x is equal to, well, what is 72 divided by 0.25? Well, let's put it into our calculator. Divided by 0.25, and you get 300. So x is equal to 300 here. So what number is 56% of 81? Again, same exact process here. What number, x, is equals 56%, can't deal with it, have to put it into a decimal, of means multiply, and 81 is 81. So our answer is just x equals 56% of 81, or x equals 0.56 times 81. And you say, well, I've got to get x by itself. Well, x is by itself, so just do the math. So x is equal to 0.56 times 81. So 0.56 times 81 is 45.36. And that's what the number is actually when you get into a calculator. So we have to our hundredths place here. We have to our hundredths place down here. We are done. That's our final answer. So let's do one more of these. So let's look at 92% is what, or 92 is what percent of 8? So 92 is just 92. Is equal to what percent? Well, that's an x. Of means multiply. And we don't know, and we've got our 8. And then we can just rewrite this thing. So that's going to be 92 is equal to, 8x. And let me fix that with my little dyslexia going on here. Let's try that again. So that's 92 is equal to 8x. 8x is 8 times x. So to get rid of the 8, we would divide by 8 on both sides of our equal sign. And so 92 divided by 8 is equal to 11.5. And you'd be like, oh great, I'm done. But X is supposed to be a percent. And right now, it is a decimal. So we've got to change it back into a percent. And how do we change a number into a percent? Well, we've got to move our decimal. How many places? We move it 2. So 11, let's make something easier. So 0.25, you know, is 25%, right? So we moved our decimal that direction. So we're at 11.5, so we're going to move our decimal 2 places that way. So that's going to be 11.5. There's nothing there. What do I do? Well, I have a placeholder of a 0. So this is actually 1,150% as a final answer. Okay, so that's how I work through the problems where they're just written that way. Again, they're more of a pre-algebra problem, but sometimes they show up in your Algebra 1 stuff, and you want to know how to deal with them.